Good day, Tamers. One of the last few videos we're going to record here, I believe, in the old house, the orange house of doom, despite the fact that bulb not being orange, but the house somehow turning orange either way. BT21 has had a few cards dropped over the last week or so, or last weekend or so. First, with a Digimon here. Atmon is a real thing, it's part of the Digimon line. I know some people are upset by this, but it's part of the franchise. What do we get in Survive? Either way, one of the first cards we got here is a rare. It's nice to see that we're getting rares back, right? I think we already know the rare count for this is the same as usual, 24, 26. But we are having a nice sort of debut of what the rookie line will be for in the Atmon sort of deck, which I think is going to be more of a bundle deck rather than is like a normal upline. As you can see, we do have the cards go sideways now and then insert for the linking mechanic. But it's nice to see that we have a more visual effect here, because at the time it was a bit awkward because they showed off the pictures. The best we could get was like 260p grainy. We do have Raid, and then if this Digimon gets linked, if you have one or fewer Tamers, you may play it one. Haru, which is really good. Link effect comes from the hand as well. For a cost of 1, you're getting put out Tamer, and then we also get to see a better Haru. Not just the future potential. There's also a memory setter, and then when your Digimon gets linked by suspending the Tamer, draw 1, and then one of your Digimon may app fuse into a Digimon card in the hand. Never watching the show, I presume app fuse is a mechanic from the show. I'm hoping that it gets explained a little bit better in the TCG. Maybe we'll get like a little like, this is a rules bundle, this is how it works, this is what you do. Because bringing out a mechanic that doesn't necessarily have anything that's just fundamentally understood, it would be good to have a a written ruling somewhere before, like 6 weeks after the first release of a set, as we've had before in the past with QAs and stuff. But that was kind of it currently for Atmon. We'll be getting more obviously as it goes through. They're doing 2 cards a day, it seems, in BT21, and then they're doing 1 card from either ST over per day over the coming weeks, it seems, because we had Agumon, which will be coming shortly, and Gabumon, which I think this morning. And there we go, if you just want to see that it came out on the 8th of Feb, so yeah, just the start of the weekend. Starting this one off strong, they showed us the secret rare for the set, or one of the secret rares for the set, Mr. Tai Kamiya. He has to be special, he has to be a little bit different, he can't just be the same as everyone else. Just do this so that we're not looking at the card reveals. There we go, start of your turn, if you have 2 or less memory, get set to free, which is the forecast, makes sense to be a memory setter. And then when one of your Digimon attacks while suspending this Tamer, draw a card. Your turn was returned, you may play 1 adventure or hero traded card with a play cost of 2 or less from the hand, paying the cost. Each of your Tamer's colours, add 1 of them to the effect of the maximum cost, then return this Tamer to the bottom of the deck. As we've always been suspecting, or I feel like a lot of people have been suspecting, he's going to be the hero deck itself, which means there's going to be a chance that you're running 2 of these, 2 Davises, 2 of the Takatos, 2 of the what's his name, Marcuses, 2 of the Takuyas, 2 of Hero, 2, and then just go through and go through. As we've already seen though, the Tamers seem to be secondary red, which you've already known that red is the main colour for a lot of the protagonists, which is probably why Tai is white. So yeah, he's gonna be like sort of like the main big boy, I think. As we go through this, you'll see that things are getting a little bit different. I like the fact that they're actually looking at the other versions of decks that we have and saying like, hey, a lot of support's happened to like the main version of these decks, but we want to be looking at like how this card affects all decks around it, which I think is really good. Then we have the BT21 MetalGarurumon vaccine in black, which is unusual because obviously black is normally where we have our blue line. The blue line is normally known as the virus line, so it's nice to see that we have a orange grey MetalGarurumon in vaccine in black. And it also gives a little bit of hope that we'll actually have a decent Coromon egg as well, hopefully, fingers crossed, for this deck, so that we can actually have a black base, black Greymon line. That's been the issue a lot of the time. You are having to go red into black, and then or like sort of like pitter-patter up your line, as the black base has been not great, despite having actually some really good cards. On play when digivolving to one of your opponent's Digimon, digivolve 1 for every 2 of your Tamer's colours. So yeah, if you got 4 colours out, digivolve 2, fairly good, right? Matt, obviously, sorry, Tai obviously has like a very weird one because Tai is technically in blue, he's in yellow, he's in black, he's in red, he's now white. He's technically in blue if you look at doing it with the mats as well. So he has basically everything other than purple. I think he has access to. So yeah, if you get all 6 colours on the field, you do have just the Digivolve for. Oh, your little thing again. And then your turn when one of your Digimon are played or Digivolve. If any of them have the adventure trait, one of your Digimon gains alliance for the turn. Then one of your Digimon may attack. I believe someone was saying that this actually sees itself. A lot of Digimon do see themselves be played. To be fair, that's it says otherwise in the rulings. So it can see itself be played. It can gain alliance. So if it digivolves into like X antibody or it digivolves into WarGreymon, it will have the ability to then have alliance. So you know it's going to be a pretty strong mechanic, especially if you just got like 2 searches on the field and you're like, oh no, my little Agumon's turned sideways for me, and now I have no extra DP really, but 3 hits for the cost of 0, and it's generally going to be pretty good on your opponent. So I do think at some point we'll be seeing Ace level 4s, and an Ace Greymon I can see happening, and just be like a pop-up blocker or something, or pop something with like 6k DP. Nothing amazing, but something just very standard. Or when digivolving or when played, for every colour tamer you have, or every hero trait or whatever on the field, increase the DP by 1000 and pop that or whatever. But that was what we've seen so far from this. We did also have access to the ST20 Agumon, which is our new best boy. He has reboot, which is very common for black rookies, to be fair. But while your opponent has a Digimon with 10,000 DP or more, or your Tamers have 3 or more total colours, this Digimon can digivolve into a WarGreymon in the hand for a Digivolution cost of 4, ignoring the Digivolution requirements. It's fine. Fine. I think it can just digivolve up into any WarGreymon by the seems of this, as long as it can, as long as the WarGreymon is able to just digivolve onto a Agumon. So I'm presuming BT14 works. The structure deck one from BT15 would also work, I think technically. That's about it for all the good WarGreymons. We don't really have any really good WarGreymon. Black WarGreymon, on the other hand, are really good Black WarGreymons, but WarGreymon's not so much. Although it's kind of awkward because having it say WarGreymon in name would mean that X antibodies could go into as well. So that's the issue where you can't do that. So it would have to specifically be a WarGreymon. So I'm hoping that the ST WarGreymon or the BT21 WarGreymon is actually a good black WarGreymon. It would be black red. We do have access to the BT12 WarGreymon, who is not awful, just not amazing. If you had if you had Blitz, I guess, because the BT41 does have Blitz. That's pretty why it's better, I think. Blitz and raid, or it has pseudo Blitz and then makes you raid. I can't remember, it's been a while. But yeah, it's good to see it. Hopefully, we do have a good black Coromon where, you know, once per turn if you digivolve, or once per turn if there is a hero on the field, or once per turn if there is a tamer on the field with the name of Tile, whatever. Draw a card, get a memory, just do something to make it worthwhile playing a black Coromon egg after all this time. I know it just says adventure with heroes, so it could be any of the eggs if any of them are just like specifically very good. But also it can just digivolve for a black or a red one anyway. But again, I want a black Coromon egg so you can play them for black Agumons because they're good. They're all good. We have the new Vmon. The interesting thing about this is, as I did mention yesterday on my posts, that this guy here, he was technically brought about because they showed off that we're having a reprinting of the ST17 Magna Mon, the one that comes from security and says stop playing the game, it's my turn to win. A lot of people were very confused why this happens. Again, there's only so many Terriermon decks out there. If they've not already been cracked all open, there won't be being left available. There's only so many secondary market cards that can be sold. If you want people to play a deck that wants to have armor rush in it, especially because that Magnamon is very strong, you have to reprint it at some point. So LM5 for Japan is going to get it. I don't think we have access to any of the cards that LM5 is having. So it's going to be a case of that we're only going to get the alternate art printings as box toppers, I believe. But for now, I think LM5 is a set we're not getting. We're getting 6 at the end of the year, I believe. This Vmon is very good. just a Demi-Vmon or a hero trait. I think I've been seeing people say they just want someone to be able to swing into things and just do what you want. It does cost 1 to Digivolve though, so you will either have to want to have a Demi-Vmon, or you will want to have hero traits. The only other non-blue Demi-Vmon currently is the red one, and the red one only works if you have 4 sources, and because this is the Armor Rush deck, you will not have 4 sources ever, presumably. But at your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve into a Digimon card with the Armor Form or Hero trait, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. The only time you really can Digivolve in this into something else is the Magna from Security, and that doesn't ask to be a costed Digivolution. It's just basically put your gloves on, we're going. But then your turn, this Digimon gets 2000 DP, which is fine. You know, it's a good markup because you're not a very strong deck. Respectfully, you are quite squishy. This generally will, it's just not once per turn. So if you want to do shenanigans with the next card we see in a second, then it will make sense. Then we got ourselves access to the new Davis. Davis is fantastic here if your opponent has a Digimon in play, gain a memory. He's 4 costs, but the fact you're going to gain a memory, and then on your effect you get to draw a card and gain a memory again, which means that on possibly every turn you're gaining 2 memory in a draw. Like, that's just a Digivolution. And the Vmon we just saw isn't once per turn, which means that you're just reducing the cost by 1 every time you Digivolve and do this. So if you've got 2 of these in the field, and you just go into Flame, or you go into Elijah, where there are only 2 costs, you just constantly go like, alright, Digivolve, swing, Digivolve, tap, get your draw, get your memory, go to the next one. If you can unsuspend somehow, maybe use the BT8 Daiken, let it unsuspend, do it again. Go from there. So yeah, I'm hoping we get some more armor forms. I wouldn't mind if we see different armor forms that we haven't already, because there are quite a few more to explore, and make it like an actual armor rush soup, as opposed to just like, we only play Magna and that promo Flamemon because it's good. Like, great, but like a bit boring. We know we get a new Magna at some point, so maybe he'll be blue-red, and then you have the blue-red Magna to compensate for the Flamemon you don't want to play anymore. Still a great Flamemon. Play the Flamemon. Looking forward to it. As people have been pointing out, I may have noticed already, we think that all the Tamers besides Haru are going to be SR. It makes sense. They're going to be key pieces to the deck. Not necessarily 4 though. So that might be the other thing that people going to see later on. Gabumon. A card that the person behind me over here is going to use to beat me up again. She's smiling. She knows it. Doesn't have to Digivolve from a Sudamon for 0. It can just be an adventure card. So I'm hoping there's a good blue or purple adventure card that makes sense for this deck. Your turn, while your opponent has a Digimon with 10,000 DP or more, or your Tamer have 3 or more total colours, this Digimon can Digivolve into a WarGreymon in the hand for reduced cost of 4, ignoring the Digivolution requirements. Again, very similar to what we've had before. Mats on blue, mats on purple. Mat does have access to the red-blue cards that Tai is also on. You might also just play the mat anyway. No, the Tai anyway. We know we're getting the mat with the TK, so that might be a blue-yellow card. So if you just play that one and the purple mats, then you have your colours there. So that could be something we see in the future. When second one's return, draw a card and trash a card, which makes sense. That's what this deck's done for a long time. It's a decent piece. I like it in this. Gabumon of Friendship doesn't care for colours. It will just go over a Gabumon. So even in purple, if you've got Friendship in your hand, it's just like, oh no, anyway, Digivolve. Digivolve. So, yeah, pick your poison. Your poison's here. So, I don't know. I like it until I get beaten up with it a lot. But the person behind me, keeping to herself probably. We do also get the alt art colouring of the EX2 Guilmon in a nice full red border, which I know it's not going to be textured, I know it's just going to be foiling, but I so prefer just having the red background as opposed to whatever the hell we got for the EX alternate art. Most of the alt arts in that set are god awful, I hate them, but especially for the rookies. But I'll just take a full colour border rather than having the same card that I've had for like 3 years at this point. It's just damaged to hell because it's been played so much. We do technically have a rehash of like the EX3 Black Greymon, which I think is still called Greymon. On play when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less. If this effect didn't delete, trash top 2 cards to your deck. Very similar effect. I believe the other one was either 2k or 3k, and then if it didn't do it, you trash 2 cards. The idea, obviously, they didn't really want you to delete anything other than like a memory setter, or sorry, a memory stopper, or like a floodgate. Rookie, but because this set seems to be interestedly around the Megiddo line as well as the Chaos line, we do get to have fun with this, where it's like, oh no, I got deleted, I gained a memory, oh no. Because yeah, we got the new Takatu, and the new Takatu is if your opponent has a Digimon, you gain a memory, which is nice to see, because this is a little bit better than the BT17, because if you're on an off turn, you don't have any Digimon on the field, you don't gain any memory, which is really good for being choked, especially having issues getting something in the back. When any of your Digimon are played or digivolve by suspending this tamer until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon with Geel, Growl, Gallant, or Megidramon, thank God it's only been literally like since BT4, whatever it is, in its name, or the hero trait gains blocker, and if there are 10 or more total cards in both players' trash, get 2000 DP. I'm hoping this is just saying 10 or more cards collectively through both trashes, because I'm always weirded out by this wording. And not like you need 10, I need 10. Because you can get 10 anyway. If it's the purple line anyway, you're just going to get 10 when you get to your Mega. But the fact that you're now a bigger blocker to the end of your opponent's turn, especially if you give this to something that's all like immune, let's say for instance, Gallamon X gets it for whatever reason. Because all it is really here is it just needs to be in name, right? So X is in name, Crimson is in name. If you just give this to the body and then you just you just ace Crimson in, and then you got blocker. That's a big blocker. It's like a 18k blocker plus. So I'm happy with this. I'm happy that we finally have a purple Takato, so you can run this in the purple variants of the deck, because people like to run, including myself, like Mildra. Because you want to have access to your option cards that are purple. But now, we got access to the purple cards. So yeah, I can see this being like at least a 4 of us in the other deck where, you know, we just desperately needed to have a purple tamer. So it's like this and Matt now. So you got memory setter, you got this, you got all the DP increases, you got blocker, you've got gain memory from your opponent having a tamer. Give it to me. Give it to me right now. Fantastic. Let's spend this episode of catching up with the news for Get Swiftly. A lot longer than I thought it was going to be, nearly 20 minutes. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy we're getting some good stuff. So far, everything I've seen, I've actually enjoyed. Itch. You need to get some more stuff. The only thing I don't like about this reveal cycle is the fact we get something like at midnight, because it's like 8 AM Japan time, or like 9 AM Japan time. We get something like 4 or 3 in the morning, because it's like midday Japan time, and then we get something at midday EU time. Everything just feels like really scuffy if you live in Europe. It's like, oh yeah, you get nothing, you wake up to everything, and then you get one thing at midday. But if you're in America, you go to bed watching the first 2 things, and you wake up to like one new thing. It's just really weird to me. But not really a complaint, just more of a weird. It'd be nice if it was like every 9 AM from like a major like cycle kind of thing. So like 9 AM Japan time, 9 AM GMT, 9 AM EST. So I know it's to be like out of place, to be like 8 hours then to 5 hours. You could always just go Pacific time. Is that the one first way? So you just do every 8 hours you get a new card, which might be interesting actually. So yeah, 9 AM, 9 AM, 9 AM. But then the Japanese people will be upset because they're not getting cards before they go to bed. So who knows? Either way, I'm happy. New Zakato, new line that could be good. We'll catch you guys next time.